Welcome to the IABC Webmaster Webinar. I'm Dave Meyer with Bizzy Web. So delighted to have you here today. We're going to talk through a bunch of stuff today for you, and included in that is 2015 trends. So we're going to talk about what's coming up in online marketing, what you can expect, and what else you can do. Now, as we get started today, there are a couple of things that I want to share with you. And one of the big things that we want to make sure that we're doing is allowing you time to ask questions as a chapter leader. So you're the webmaster of your chapter. You guys know what you need and how we can help you best. And so I'm going to give you that chance to ask questions. I do have a number of questions that were submitted to me early in the as people registered. So if you do have those questions, you want to add those in. The best way to do that is going to be by using the Q&A tool in Google Hangouts. So what I'm going to do right now is just share with you how to do that. We're going to switch over to our website here and go back. Where's my mouse? There we go. Go back to chaptersite.com. So if you're not at chaptersite.com, visit that page right now. And if you're viewing this after the fact, you're just going to click on Welcome to the Webinar, go into this page, and then there's a link to the Google Plus page. If you click on that Google Plus page, you're going to need to be logged into the Google Plus account. You'll notice that there's a Q&A and a live button right here, and that's what you want to click on in order to ask us questions. I'm going to take you through that process right now. All you need to do is click this button. A new window is going to pop up, and then you can ask a question. So if you click Ask a New Question here, ask a question now. And if you do that, I will see that. I will add and link to the questions that I'm answering as we go. And that's your space for asking those questions. So please do make sure to ask questions. The one catch with this is that you have to have a registered Google Plus account in order to ask those questions. You'll be guided through the steps in the process on that if you are in the webinar and if you're watching. So it only takes a second, which is the good news. But that's our best way to get a hold of you that way. So here we go. All right, switching back over to our presentation so that we can get rolling. What we're going to talk through today are some reminders. We're going to talk a little bit about hosting info for everything that you need to know. You've heard this a number of times before. We're going to get into some news and updates. I'll share what I know about IABC.com and everything that's happening. Lots of wonderful news coming up. And then we'll talk about those 2015 online marketing trends. All of that is going to be relatively brief today because I want to get right to the Q&As. So again, as a reminder, please go to that Hangout window. And if you do go to that window, you'll be able to ask questions again by clicking the green button after you click on the Google Plus link. So step one, click on the Google Plus page link. Step two, click on the video inside of there, and you'll be able to ask questions right there. Thank you very much. We've got a bunch of people viewing already, so that's amazing news. And let's get right down to business. So Bizzy Web is an online marketing company. Everyone knows that. We do web hosting, which is why you're speaking with us, but we also support and design all of our websites. We build websites so that they integrate with social media. And so if your chapter's website is not already linked into social media, I can share with you how to do that. And certainly if that's something that you're interested in hearing more about later, we've covered it before in online webinars with the Snap plugin and how to activate it, but we can come back to that. Again, make sure that you're sending us questions and suggestions so that I know what webmasters at IABC need, but we try to make it as easy as possible. As a brief little stint here, Bizzy Web does donate 5% of the profit from any project that we get from an IABC member into the Research Foundation at IABC. So if you do have recommendations or referrals for us for your company or your business, that would be a great way to help us help IABC. And as a longtime member and supporter of IABC myself, that's something that I'm pretty proud of being able to do. All right, let's talk about Bizzy Hosting quick so that we can get that done. Basically, if you're hosting with Bizzy Web, $250 a year is the basic account. That's 500 megabytes of space, 5 email auto forwards. That's for webmaster@ to go to your personal Gmail account or president, treasurer, whatever. Google Analytics is built into all of these accounts. If you don't have it set up, be sure to get a hold of us and request that, but it should all be working and set up for you. There's not a member login function with the basic level, but there is an hour of contracted support. We do those in 15-minute increments. So basically you get 4 times when you can ask us to help you with something and get things updated. So once a quarter, you can have Bizzy Web help you. Just give us a call, send us a note, send us an email over the chaptersite.com website support page, and we'll help you with anything that you need help with. We also do weekly backups of a database on your website and monthly file backups. So if something does go wrong with your website, you're always there. Included with that, of course, is also the tools and the notes that we have on our website. So all of the advanced functions and plugins, as well as the backup features and the auto scanning for malicious code and viruses and making sure that your website is up. Gold package doubles your size. You get 1 gigabyte of space, you get 10 email auto forwards, and then you also do get the member login function. And so the member login function is something that will allow you to log into your website using your chapter, your IABC credentials, keeps the access availability based on if you're a member or not. So you can offer members only content on your chapter website. And the addition of that login would then allow you to, for example, authenticate against a job board or a members only kind of function like a newsletter that's only meant for chapter members. So very easy, very fun. You get 3 hours of support on that, daily backups and access to a bank of photos. And then the platinum is really for any chapter that would need e-commerce or a dedicated SSL. And if you're going to do that, you can actually get your own email accounts through that one, where we'll manage email, as well as the member login function, 6 hours of support, and then again, that bank of photos. So if you have questions about that, by all means, please do add that at any time or send us a note. If you give us a call at the number that's on the screen or send a note through the support link at chaptersite.com. And again, that's also down at the bottom right. Would love to hear from you there. In order to request support, again, you do go to chaptersite.com support or email iabc@bizzyweb.com. The things that we will help you with include password resets, monitoring and maintaining your site, WordPress updates, search engine optimization, site-wide activation, basically to make sure that your plugin is set up correctly and that your website is set to be able to take advantage of search engine software, social media integration, spam screening, removal, and blocking. We did have a question in about Akismet, and we do have an account that we'll assign to you if you need that, as well as site backups, malware scanning, and uptime monitoring. Things that aren't included in support include content updates. We won't actually update the content of the site, but hey, we're all chapter leaders and we're all communicators, so that shouldn't be a problem. Updating the actual design of the website. Again, we have special offers for chapter leaders or for IABC chapters to make design updates, and we actually offer 2 themes right now, and I have a special announcement at the end of this account or at the end of this webinar about some new designs that we're making available. Form updates, non-supported plugins. If you've installed a plugin on your website and it breaks things, we'll certainly help you fix it, but you break it, you bought it. And so we will help you with it. We'll guide you with through what might take in order to keep your budget to an absolute minimum. But if you do need help from us and you've broken something, of course, we can't support that, but we'd love to help you anyway. If your account is hacked through a non-supported plugin, or if it's hacked through a bad password, if somebody has written password as their password on the website, that would be one of those things that we'd want to be careful of. And then all accounts really do have some hours that can be used in buckets for that stuff, but it's easy to run out on that, so you want to be very careful. Chapter Site Pro is a new theme that we announced last quarter. And again, hang on at the end and I'll share another announcement with you about chapter themes and some more cool stuff involved in that. So hang on with that. All of our themes are mobile responsive. They're dynamic. They feature clean navigation. And depending on the response to the announcement at the end of this event, we'll either accelerate the process of rolling out those themes or take care of some more customizations. So Depending on what you need, let us know. If you would like Bizzy Web's help activating the theme, we can do that for you. There is a one-time fee to set up a development server in order to help you get your website set up. So a $300 fee will have us install a copy of your website and install the new theme on that copy so that you can activate it and take care of it. If you would like Bizzy Web to do that and activate it and run you through everything and just to have that kind of be a hands-off thing, Bizzy Web will do that. It usually takes between 7 and 10 hours to activate a theme and to get everything dialed in so that it works correctly. So our design fees are $155 an hour. So usually under $1,000 to get you a completely new website design. That's something that no other chapter or no other web design company or other service will offer to you. I know there are other services out there. Nothing else is going to integrate as cleanly with IABC.com, which is now built on WordPress, not on Igloo or anything else, and integrates as cleanly and as easily with the member database. So we give you all of the details that you need, and we'll help you with real people support. So this is real companies this is a real company that will really help you, led by an IABC leader and volunteer. All right, so let's get into the trends for 2015, what's happening in the web. And again, this is where I would encourage you to please do ask questions as we go along. I don't see any questions listed yet, but if you do have some, would love to hear those. And so don't forget about that. And once we get to the end of this part, I will go back through and share again how you can request or send in those questions. And as soon as we get done with this as well, I'm going to read through the pre-submitted questions. I have 4 that have come in from registrants already. So we'll take care of those. All right, big things for the web. If you haven't noticed, everything is getting simpler and cleaner on the web, largely in part done by Apple and iOS. You'll note that with iOS 8, actually iOS 7, back about a year ago when they launched that out, and now with 8, there are clean, clear, there's not a lot of layers or drop shadows in website design anymore. Less tends to be more as far as websites are concerned. Flash is officially completely and totally dead, and for good reason. No mobile devices support Flash anymore, at least no current mobile devices. Android, iOS, Windows, BlackBerry, nobody supports Flash anymore, so don't use it. Speed is also the name of the game. And so if you can make sure that your images are as small as possible using tools like Smushit, smush.it, which is a Yahoo property, will automatically resize images on your website for you. That makes the browsing experience much quicker and cleaner. And in general, mobile now rules the web. All of the clients that Bizzy Web is working with right now on new websites are designing their websites with mobile in mind, if not mobile first, with the realization that 80% of searches are now originating on mobile devices. And as people are looking to interact with you, they're probably doing chapter communications in particular, or checking out your chapter website, perhaps not on a corporate machine anymore. They might be on a phone or on a tablet browsing at night thinking about, well, what am I going to do for my networking this month? They're going to be looking for things or checking you out. There's also great ways for people to interact or find that next venue or tweet or connect with you right from the mobile device when they're at an event with you. And so thinking about mobile responsiveness for your design on your website is of paramount importance. If you go to your website and you have to pinch or zoom in order to see any content, there's a good chance that you're going to lose visitors through that process. You know, it doesn't take a lot of money or a huge investment, and certainly the free designs that we've made available to IABC leaders are all mobile responsive. Mobile responsive is the new watchword for the web. Security is going to continue to remain at the forefront. I would encourage every webmaster to submit and suggest that everyone at your board resets all of their passwords using a tool like 1Password or LastPass or KeepPass. And make sure that none of your passwords are the same across any other websites. It's tough, it stinks, but it's the way of the world. We're going to continue to see massive hacking attempts and massive things. IABC chapters have not been immune to hacking attempts. And we've actually seen a couple of times where chapters or IABC members have been explicitly targeted through hacking attempts. So make sure that you're thinking about that. WordPress is going to keep on growing and keep growing its lead over the rest of the web technology. 40% of new websites right now are being built in WordPress. And while there are other tools out there like Wix or Web.com or Weebly or any of those others, all of the cheapo websites are cheap for a reason. If you want to build a fantastic website, have it work and have it integrate correctly while being search engine optimized, it's hard to beat WordPress as a content management system. You are going to see some WYSIWYG or some drag and drop ability in all new web design themes. That's frankly being led by some of WordPress's competitors. It's possible now to take a web design theme inside of WordPress and drag new pieces of information into the front page of the website through a graphical interface. You used to have to design inside of widgets or even do hard coding in order to make that happen. If you have to do a lot of coding, it's likely just because your WordPress installation or your WordPress design is old enough that it doesn't have that smart stuff built into it. Bizzy Web and all of Bizzy Web's themes are designed on a tool or on a framework called Genesis by StudioPress. And that allows all of our visitors or all of our users to interact with a operating system almost on top of the web design, where all you need to do is log into your website and you can drag and drop content in and out of it at your whim. And so that's going to keep getting simpler over the course of this year. I talked about mobile a little bit already, but really this is going to be a breakout year for mobile design. It's already been happening, and really it's been happening for a couple of years now, but HTML5 and CSS3 have really made it quite simple for web design folks or websites to automatically rebuild themselves based on the width of the device that they're being displayed on. So it's simple coding changes and challenges that are being built in, but really we're probably going to see design structure being focused on mobile and a mobile first environment versus a website that's designed first from PCs and then to gracefully degrade to mobile. 80% again of searches are originated on mobile devices, and that number is incredible. It's incredibly strong. We all now have little mini supercomputers in our pockets, and that's where people are browsing and interacting with information. I would also look for a lot more MMS messaging. That's video and image texts, where now you could text in to your chat. If you're having a chapter meeting or if you're having a conference, you could have people text questions and answers. I actually did this at World Conference a couple years ago, where I invited people to text me questions or text me the results of their poll. I had them vote on 3 different things, and they were able to just text in their answers to that particular question, and it showed up real time, live on the website and on the screen that I was projecting to the front of the room. Incredibly easy stuff, but all of that is enabled and built around mobile devices. So websites that don't serve mobile are just going to see a huge dip in use as people just get sick of having to pinch and zoom and drag and click with their fingers everywhere. If your website isn't designed to be browsed with one hand in a very small device, you're going to be missing out on interactivity and interactions with your clients, with your visitors. In social media, there's a lot here, but it's continuing to pick up pace. So with Facebook, We are going to see some more streamlining. Things are going to get a little bit cleaner. There's already a new Facebook for Business that's been announced and rolled out specifically to allow businesses to have their own mini version of Facebook. You're going to see an increased focus on ad revenue. The edge rank of pages on Facebook has dropped through the floor, where it used to be that up to 40% of the people that like your page would see any given post that you make. Now that number is around the 4% or lower range. So if you have 100 people that like your page, only 4 people instead of 40 are likely to see that post. And Facebook claims that it's because so many people are posting so many different things, but it happened overnight when all of the Facebook marketing folks, or when all of the people that were getting really good at Facebook marketing, saw this precipitous change. And so something definitely happened, and that something was that they're refocusing on, instead of organic results for pages, on having those pages rely on paid revenue. So you're going to see that across the board. Everybody's doing the polite cough and holding out their hand for tip revenue instead of just handing out all their content for free. With Twitter, I would expect that there's going to be a better business offering for Twitter, instead of having just one mobile account for everything and needing people to have separate logins or share one login for a Twitter account. In your chapter, you have one person that is likely to manage that account. And with Twitter, I would expect a Twitter for Business that would be semi-similar to Facebook for Business, or LinkedIn's business pages, or Google Plus business pages. Separate entities that are able to be managed by individual accounts and still have some sort of a glue holding them together, so that it's clear that these are all people from within the same organization. We'll see. There are also, lines are blurring quite a bit between Twitter and all of the other networks. Last year, they redesigned the Twitter interface and the timeline so that it looked a whole lot more like Facebook. Your profile view now has the big banner across the top, as well as different images and backgrounds. It's just, everything's getting a lot more Facebook-like, because that's the new standard of the web. Hashtags are still going to be prevalent and used quite often. We're going to see smarter uses and more immediate uses of hashtags in the future. LinkedIn is going to have a big growth year, as they have every single year. But really, this is going to be a great time for thought leadership becoming apparent as a value driver for businesses. So what that means for IABC chapters in particular is that LinkedIn is going to be one of your best spots to grow and interact with your potential audiences as well as your existing members. If you don't have a LinkedIn company page for your chapter, and if you don't have groups for the different affinity groups, you would definitely want to look into that, because LinkedIn, in particular for the International Association of Business Communicators, is an absolute no-brainer. So if you're not using LinkedIn, take a strong look at that and double down on LinkedIn this year. Google Plus continues to see issues, and Vic Gupta of that formerly ran Google Plus is now not at Google anymore, and so things are changing. There's either going to be a spinoff of Google Plus or some big changes to kind of bring Google Plus in line. The sad fact is that Google Plus will never be a Facebook. It will never be that big. It will never be that influential, at least not in its current form. But Google is by far the largest web entity on the internet. And so Google is going to continue to find better and more interactive ways to personalize your browsing and online world. And so look for Google Plus to be one of those banners and one of those watchwords inside of that. In particular, what I believe is Google Plus's killer app, Hangouts, of which you're watching right now, is going to continue to grow in prominence. Recently, Google Plus announced that it's merging Google Voice and Google Plus Hangouts into one tool, all under the Hangouts brand. And so Google Voice is going to continue to kind of spin off and languish until it gets completely swallowed by Hangouts. And then everyone that has a Google Voice number will just have that number associated with their Hangout or with their Hangout ID. So it's going to be the grand synthesizer of all of your online world. So phone numbers, chat messaging, video messaging, recorded calls, all of that is going to keep growing under Hangouts. Instagram just recently surpassed Twitter in the total amount of users. They also had a really interesting thing at the end of the year last year where they cleaned out all of the dummy accounts, and some celebrities in particular lost as many as 2/3 or 3/4 of their fan base. So like Justin Bieber took like a 3 million follower hit over from one day to the next because they killed all of the robots that were following. Instagram is a Facebook property. It's just going to keep growing and it's going to keep getting better. Instagram, if you're not very familiar with it as a business communicator, Instagram is largely curated imagery. You can do videos and images, but think of this as if Twitter is where you're going to tweet and to paste small text-based imagery out, maybe images. If Facebook is where you're going to publish 9 or 10 pictures from the party that you went to, Instagram is the place where you're going to polish your favorite 1 or 2 images, put a special filter on them to make them look super artsy, and post that to your closest friends. Vine is going to continue growing, but it's going to have trouble being relevant. Instagram does the same thing as Vine pretty much. Vine is Twitter's answer to Instagram video, as a matter of fact. Vine actually came a little bit before Instagram video, but Vine is looping viral video completely based on the mobile environment. You take your phone, you shoot a Vine, and you publish it to your friends. It's going to have trouble staying relevant, I think. Instagram just has a bigger and widening lead, and so I think that'll be interesting. Ello, which was social media's darling around the beginning of the last quarter of 2014, is probably going to just drop. While nice in ideas or thoughts, it seemed like a good idea at the time to have a completely non-revenue collecting entity for social media, to let you share things without getting advertised or having your information shared. The reality of the fact is that you need to pay the bills somehow. And so Ello is going to either need to figure out a way to monetize, or it's going to go away. And the shine is largely worn off. If you have an Ello account, you're probably seeing that not many people are still using it or using that tool. And so, the latest social media darling, Ello, is probably going to be on its way out this year. Niche networks, however, are going to see increasing traffic, and that might be another one of the big things that I'm not focusing on enough. People are sick of the all-in-one social media tools, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn to some extent. They're all kind of E is for everybody tools. And so very precise networks like House, Doximity, GitHub for the development world. House is, of course, a kind of a real estate and landscaping, kind of a home-related social network where you can do basically the same thing as Pinterest, but revolving around real estate-related things. And you're going to see more things like that pop up. And if you're engaged and excited about a specific type of a lifestyle thing, whether it's your favorite hobby or other related things, you're probably going to see some tool either leverage that or outright be set up around your hobby or your special interest over the next 3 to 4 years, I'd say. But we're definitely seeing ways for people to cut out the clutter and cut out the noise by joining specific groups and by pulling things together in that way. Other stuff, I talked about this already, but MMS and text-based marketing are going to continue to see big growth. Everyone has mobile devices in their hands. There's a reason why Facebook spent $3 billion on the MMS-based messaging service that I'm completely blanking on right now. But the teams that are putting that sort of stuff out and that are able to capture immediate and instant communication that are going to kind of fulfill and frame out from millennials and younger, the folks that are, true digital natives and true mobile device natives. It's going to continue to speed up, simplify, and things are going to move away from the traditional web/browser based interaction. You're going to see a lot more laser focus and instant interaction than you ever have before. So if you haven't looked into MMS marketing and text-based marketing, MMS is the big one. It's not really ready for prime time yet, especially in Canada, where MMSs just aren't all that easy to do yet, but or especially across international lines. But text-based marketing for sure, and then the ability to text, for lack of a better term, imagery and videos is going to be a killer app for the business world in the near future. Email marketing is going to continue to grow. It's not going away. It's kind of like the cockroach of the internet world. Email marketing is still the way business is done. Emails are still sent by the billions in the corporate world, and that's of course where we live. And so don't look for email to go away, but anti-spam regulations are going to continue to get tougher. You're going to need to focus, just like you have in the past with search engine optimization and following along with what Google tells you. The entire point of SEO and search engines and Google algorithms are to make sure that your searches are as relevant as possible. You're going to see additional pressure on email marketers to keep their messaging more targeted, more useful, and more interesting, or you're probably going to see, a lot more blacklisting of IPs. If you have a straight email account, or if you're trying to send out from one Gmail account to any more than 10 people, you're going to want to have a tool like Constant Contact or MailChimp or something. I, of course, recommend Constant Contact because it's the way business is done. MailChimp is cute and all. It's free for starters, but you do really get what you pay for. And so I've been blown away by Constant Contact, especially in the last years. They've really made a quantum leap in usability, and you can now manage all of your network as well as doing your social media marketing and event management and marketing. You got an email from Bizzy Web to register for this event via a Constant Contact tool. Surveys are built into Constant Contact, and all of that starts as low as $45 a month for lists of up to 500, and then up to 2,500, it's only $60 a month. That's dirt cheap for the tools that you get, and again, you do get what you pay for, and that's the way the world's going. You need to learn to pay to play and to start thinking of your marketing as investment-based instead of something that you get for free. Advertising and paid media, of course, are becoming the norm. I just talked about that, but what we're really seeing is that there is a business to the web, and the best way to get real value and the difference between pretenders and real players is the fact that people that are willing to invest in their marketing are going to see the real results. You can either waste a ton of time and effort doing something free, or you can pay an insanely small amount to see real results. $50 worth of a Facebook campaign or LinkedIn Premium or any of those other tools are really amazingly useful. And all of those tools are going to see enhanced utility and enhanced effectiveness as the world basically just gets used to the fact that they have to pay for top tier tools. Finally, content marketing is going to replace SEO as a buzzword. SEO never really was a big thing. It was just shorthand. Search engine optimization is a misnomer. And if you have companies that are selling you SEO services, what they're really talking about is content marketing. If they're still selling SEO, you're going to want to be careful with that, because that probably means that they're still couched in the 3-year ago kind of time frame. There is no way to game Google other than to be as useful as humanly possible. So the more useful, the more interesting you are, the more value you bring to your visitors, to your customers, to your target markets, the better you're going to rank and the higher you're going to show up. That's where the value is. There's no such thing as a free lunch anymore, and you can't game Google. They keep getting smarter. And so, there's just no such thing as SEO really anymore. There's no silver bullet to getting you to the top of the list in search engine rankings. Instead, what you need to focus on is just being helpful and interesting and having great content. Great news for us as business communicators, because that's what we do best. All right. One last thing before we get into Q&A. What's coming for Bizzy Web is we're going to have a big focus on all facets of online marketing. Look for our Buzz Builders programs to offer everything that I talked about today. We're looking for sales reps, so if you know anyone, especially internationally, we're looking for help in international markets. We need developers, and our team's going to be at 15 by the end of this year. We've been doing this for 16 years now. Would love for anyone that's nearby to stop by and to check us out. Very briefly, as a reminder and a programming note for the folks that are watching, remember to make backups and update your content. One of the questions that did come in was, how do we back up our systems, or how often does Bizzy Web do that? We update plugins quarterly and WordPress software quarterly, unless there are security concerns. If some sort of a exploit or a vulnerability is patched, we'll roll that out right away. But make sure that you take care of everything. So the steps, make a backup, delete any unused plugins, make sure that you're not breaking anything. A lot of the hacks that are coming through right now are from people going in and finding plugins that aren't even active on the website, but that have vulnerable PHP code, and they're logging into that and using it for nefarious purposes. So get rid of all the old junk. Remove comments and or turn off comments. Again, Akismet is a brilliant tool, but if you're not explicitly going to ask for conversation in your posts, just turn off comments for the easiest amount of interaction. The world doesn't really expect to be able to chat back and forth on your blog anymore. And what they want to do is tweet with you or interact with you on LinkedIn or Facebook. So keep that in mind. And, comments on posts aren't what they used to be. Delete any old admin accounts. Leave the Bizzy Web one, por favor. That's probably, it is the most important one for you, because that's the one that lets us continue to monitor and maintain your website. And there's a Bizzy monitoring plugin on your website. Keep that one there as well, because between those two accounts, that's how we proactively and constantly monitor your website for uptime, malware, and get into it to update your software on a regular basis. Upgrade all of your plugins and software. And big announcement for us today, I'm opening up our entire Bizzy Web theme library to IABC chapters. If you go to BizzyWebThemes.com, and I'll show you a demo of that in just a moment. If you go to BizzyWebThemes.com, you'll see the designs that are available for free to IABC chapters. Not chapter members. We're not going to do this for your company, although we can certainly cut you a special deal if your company or organization needs help with a new design. But all of our stock themes are available to IABC chapters now for free. Again, we can help you build that. We can help you reintegrate it. We can help you launch your site. That does come at a cost. But if you have someone on your team that's great at web design, or that has some HTML and CSS chops, you're welcome to install that yourself. We'll make that available for you and give you any tips and tricks along the way as we can. So that's our big news. And let's go into our Q&A. So again, if you are in the Hangout, if you're watching live right now, this is your time to ask that question. Again, if you go into this post, if you're watching here, go down to this link, this Google Plus page link, click on that. When you go into that, you're going to see a page, and you'll be able to ask questions inside of here. As I wait for people to go ahead and ask those questions, I'm going to go into the questions that I have received through the registration tool. So first, Lori from Silicon Valley asked, which social media channels tend to be the most successful for IABC chapters? There are really two, and I'll give you a smaller third. The big one for IABC chapters is, of course, LinkedIn. If you haven't set up a company page for your IABC chapter, I would encourage you to do that. You just go to linkedin.com/company and set up a new page, set up a new organization page. You can set up groups very easily in LinkedIn as well. And that's a great way to interact. It also tends to be the one social media account that even the crankiest IT departments tend to leave open. So LinkedIn is a great first tool for IABC chapters. I would never discount Facebook because Facebook has, on average, up to a third of all internet traffic on any given time. 1.5 billion users, a billion of those are mobile primarily. You just can't ignore Facebook. So having a company page or a LinkedIn page or a Facebook page is also a great option for your chapter. And then as a smaller third, I would also say Twitter, because people love to tweet back and forth and chat, especially during chapter events with hashtags. And so having a Twitter account that would let you connect up and chat back and forth with people is pretty important. Google Plus is also relatively important if your chapter is based in a specific location. Having a LinkedIn or a Google Plus local page is going to be great for you to get better results in local searches. So if someone happens to be searching in your metropolitan area, you should bubble to the top of you as your organization if people are searching for the keywords that you feature on your profile. As well, Google Plus lets you do just a ton of things inside of the regular day-to-day interaction on the web, in particular Hangouts. So if you want to have webinars, for example, like this, it's very easy to do and free to do over Google Plus. Google Plus Hangouts on Air are the recorded and broadcasted versions of these. And so would encourage you to try that out as well. So they asked for 2, I'm giving you 4. In order of importance: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus. So thank you, Lori. Julie asked, from San Francisco, asked, we're considering adding Google Plus to our portfolio of social media channels in light of the fact that San Fran is going to play host to the World Conference and Google Plus is popular outside the US. Is this true or false, and your thoughts on ease of use? So, Julie, the Google Plus tool itself is brilliant. It's very easy, and I would absolutely encourage you to set up a Google Plus page through your Google Plus account. So you can create a page for IABC San Francisco, and that will allow you to do Hangouts on Air, to do searches. It's a little tricky as far as using some of the tools. Auto Awesome in Google Plus, if everyone has the Google Plus tools on their phone, if they're on an Android device or an iOS that has the Google Plus app installed, you can take pictures and automatically share the pictures from the event that you attend to the event page, for example. That's really cool. Hangouts, you can do presentations just like this, and you can have commentary, you can watch videos, you can do polls in line and instantly. You can share ideas and share Google Docs live on calls. So there's a ton that you can do. As far as being more popular outside the US, I'd say it's probably more popular as a percentage, whereas with Google Plus right now, it's probably in the 10 to 15% range versus Google or Facebook having like 70 or 80% of the market. Facebook isn't available everywhere else in the world, and there's other tools out there like Orkut and all that other stuff that are more prominent in Asia and in some parts of Europe. But you know, the big ones are still the big ones most everywhere that IABC has chapters. So I don't think Google Plus has an incredibly strong presence anywhere, but it is probably stronger as a percentage than in some other places or in some other places of the world. So Google Plus is a fantastic tool, very useful. I wouldn't rely on it as the go-to tool though, because you know, it's kind of in flux right now, as I covered in my trends, but it's also, aside from having some of the best tools on the web, it's a Google property. So sometimes people have harder time buying into the largest web entity in the world. So Antara in Chicago asked, is Akismet spam protection part of the IABC chapter site development package? And actually, it's part of the hosting package. So if you don't have Akismet, which is the WordPress authored anti-spam tool, if you don't see that on your chapter website and you would like it, please do reach out to us and we'll help you install it. We do have a code or a authentication license that we can use for your chapter. Just get a hold of us and we'll help you with that. Takes about 5 minutes, no big deal. And you wouldn't incur any service as part of that either. It's just incredibly easy. That said, if you don't plan to use comments on your website, I would just disable comments entirely, because Akismet doesn't catch all spam. It does catch most, but you're just kind of tempting fate by letting comments out there unless you're actively monitoring them and using them, and if you have someone that knows how to manage them. There's a lot of folks that publish spam comments on websites, and some of them do have malicious code, so you need to be very careful in how all of that works. And in general, unless you have a compelling reason to use comments on your website, I'm tending personally to discourage clients from using comments and instead focusing on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, what have you, for your interaction. And actually, I believe that's it. I had another one from Lisa from Maritime Canada, but it looked like there wasn't a question on there. So now again is your chance. So please do ask a question. If you feel more comfortable just asking a question via the support box, go to chaptersite.com and enter in a question. I will go there now for you so you can see. From chaptersite.com, you simply log in or go to the support page. And from support, fill out this form, quick and easy. And under how we can help you, you can just say, actually, you don't need help with anything in particular. You can just say, how can we help you? And load that up, ask that question. And I'll hang out for a little bit here. I don't see any emails into the IABC support box at this precise moment. So hopefully everything is good. But I think we should be perfect. So last chance for questions. And as I wait for those questions to finally come through here, I'm just going to wrap up. Again, don't forget the library. There's 20? No, not quite 20. I think there's 12 chapter Webmaster Webinars, 12 or maybe 14 now. And so there's tips and tricks on how to do and how to maintain the chapter site theme, the chapter site pro theme, how to update plugins, how to change your security settings, how to make sure that your website is secure, how to update plugins, how to make minor changes to your design, how to manage users. There's all kinds of stuff that's available inside of there. So do browse that library and check by each post as to what's included in each one of those. Remember that Bizzy Web does web design, and so if you need help at your chapter or in your personal organization, remember, if you refer us business, we'll give 5% of the profit from that deal or from that interaction to the IABC Research Foundation. Online marketing, if you do need help in your organization or at your chapter with Google AdWords, email marketing via Constant Contact, etc., Bizzy Web has the tools for you. And be sure to join us every Wednesday. I'm going to switch over to the Bizzy Web website for a second so that you can see this. But at bizzyweb.com/events, or if you go to bizzyweb.com and you click on events, you can browse what's coming up in Bizzy Webinars. Next Wednesday, we're covering email marketing for success. This is at noon Central Time, US. And then next up, we have customizing your WordPress theme, how to do that in basics, offers and promotions, how to do offers and promotions via online marketing, and then social media advertising, how to do ad campaigns. So tune into those. They are also recorded and available from the Bizzy Webinar accounts. So for example, if you wanted to see website don'ts from yesterday, you can click on this and the replay of that video is right here. So things that you should not do in your website, if you want to browse that, all of those are available from bizzyweb.com/events. So thank you very much for joining me today. I don't see any other questions and want to keep this as close and as short as possible. If you do have questions that you'd like to log through the support box, again, please go to chaptersite.com/support and log that question there. Or you can simply send an email to admin or to IABC@bizzyweb.com. I'm Dave Meyer with Bizzy Web. Thanking you so much for joining us. Remember, at Bizzy Web, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. And thank you for being an IABC leader. Have a great month. We'll talk to you next time.